Hi there. Today I want to give you my number one formula for how to be successful. Now this video is not clickbait. I promise you it will add value to your life. I think that a lot of times, man, we have these ideas floating around in our mind as to what it means to be successful, and we tell ourselves we just have to be the best, the strongest. We have to shoot our one shot. Man, you're gonna get one shot, just do it. But the fact of the matter is you don't get one shot. And what happens when you fail that one shot? If this is your philosophy, when you fail that one shot, you're gonna sink into depression. But the fact of the matter is the most successful people out there had more than one shot. They failed their first shots, they failed their first 100 shots, but they learned from each shot. And so the simple principle I'm going to give you actually comes from the Bible, and you don't have to have any Christian or religious affiliation to accept this wisdom. I believe in the Bible. I'm a Christian, and I think that the Bible is a book of wisdom, but I don't believe that you have to be any of those things to accept the information or the advice I'm about to give you. Now, this passage that contains this formula, the secret to success, is written in the book of Ecclesiastes. Now, Solomon was considered in the biblical narrative to be the wisest person that lived apart from Jesus. And Solomon wrote the book of Ecclesiastes. Now, Solomon in the Bible is told to have done very good things, but then also done very bad things, right? And so he lived it all. Like, this brother has experience, right? And at the end of his life, or the culmination of his experiences, wrote this book of Ecclesiastes. And so it's just really just a treasure chest of wisdom. And so let me get into this real secret to, or formula for success. So in Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse number 11, watch what he says. He says, I returned and I saw that under the sun, that the race is not to the swift. Okay, so essentially he's saying, man, the fastest don't always win the races, okay? Nor the battle to the strong. Oh, snap. So the strongest don't always win the battle? Neither yet is bread to the wise, nor riches to men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill. Now, I thought that was interesting, because here what Solomon is saying is, man, the fastest person is not always going to win. The strongest the race. The strongest person is not always going to win the battle. Sometimes the wisest people never really get the bread, the sustenance of life. And sometimes the most skillful people seem like they don't have favor, right? And I'm just like, man, this is really true, because I grew up playing soccer, and I think that for a lot of athletes or rappers or artists or whatever it may be, there might have been that kid in your class that was just the smartest, or that kid that could just ball the best, and that person right now is like they're not successful in terms of sports, right? Like, they don't play professional soccer. But sometimes you might have just noticed that mediocre guy, that guy was just kind of all right, and now he's the one that blew up. And I think that that's the same way for a lot of industries. I feel like a lot of people could vibe with that, And so when I read this, I'm like, oh snap, like that's interesting, but it seems kind of futile, because my whole life I told myself, man, I just have to be the fastest or the best or the strongest, and like this is the kind of mentality that we have. But like, if that's the mentality we have, and success isn't promised to that person, then like it came like a light bulb in my mind to tell me I need a sort of philosophical shift. My attempt at life doesn't need to be that I need to be the strongest, fastest, or whatever. What does it need to be then? Well, continue reading. Right after he says all that, he's like, man, the race is not given to the swift, the battle not given to the strong, bread not given to men of understanding, favor not given to men of skill, but time and chance happeneth to them all. And so I'm like, oh snap, okay. If it seemed futile before, it definitely seems futile now, right? Because essentially what he's saying is, man, you could be fast, you're not going to win the race. You can be strong, you're not going to win the battle. You can be blah, blah, blah. It doesn't mean you're going to win. Time and chance happens to them all, right? And I'm like, oh, snap. So what does that mean then? I should just sit on my couch and sort of not attempt to be successful in a thing? Is that what that looks like? Nah, I don't think that the Bible is saying that. What I think the Bible is breaking down is that, man, the time and the chance that happen to all, whether you're smart or you're fast or you're stupid or you're slow. Like, time and chance happens to everyone. And so should I sit on my couch again and just wait for my time and my chance to come? Nah, here's where the formula could come in. My formula for success could come in if I understand that time and chance happens to all. If I say, man, let me increase the amount of times and the amount of attempts or chances I take, then that could thus increase my odds of being successful. And so I don't think that I should tell myself, hey, let me try to be the fastest in order to win the race. Because if I spend my whole life trying to be the fastest and I only run the race once, the victory is not promised to me. But if I say, hey, let me try to attempt that race the most times that I can, then I believe that I increase my odds of being successful. And I really think that this idea is perpetuated in Ecclesiastes 11. He says, man, verse 2, he says, give a portion to 7 and also to 8, for you don't know what evil will come upon the earth. And I think that's deep because he's saying, hey, don't invest in just one thing. Invest in 7, invest in 8. You don't know which one is going to succeed. In verse number 6, actually, he says, man, in the morning sow thy seed, and in the evening don't withhold thy hand, for you don't know what's going to prosper, either this or that. So essentially Solomon is saying, man, sow in the morning, but guess what? Sow again in the evening, because you don't know which crop will succeed. And I think that success is much like the same way, right? Success is being able to go from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. Success is being able to go from failure to failure and use the knowledge that you get from those failures to attempt again in just a better, sort of more consistent way. And I think that the reason why we think that success is for the best, that just give it your one shot and just give it your best shot, is because we really value quality over quantity. But I don't actually think that it's about quality or quantity as much as I think that it's about consistency. Let me just give this practical application of this concept. So take YouTube videos, for example. Sometimes when I want to post a YouTube video, I'm just like, man, I want to post the best video that I could post. Like, let me go out and rent a lens, for a weekend. Let me go out and call my friend that's a video editor. Let me go and buy this little piece, this planter, this light or something to make the scene just look like really nice, And I try to post my best video, right? And I go and I work this hard and I post the video, and the sort of results don't seem more significant than any other video. And it's just like, it prevents me from making other videos, because like in my mind, I'm doing the most to just sort of make the quote unquote best video. Now, I don't think anything is wrong with that, but when I only post one video sporadically or once every like 3 months, is that really going to make me successful? Even if those videos are the quote unquote best quality that I could put out. And I don't think so, right? I think that beyond sort of the best quality I could put out, that the most important thing, especially on YouTube, is consistency. Is me saying, yo, let me just get my camera, let me get my lights, let me post a video, but consistently. I think that the person that gives 90% of their effort 1,000 times will be infinitely more successful than the person that gives 200% of their effort once. And so I really think that this simple formula, man, that it's not about quality or quantity, but in consistency, right? I really think that if you just stay consistent, if you just learn about the daily grind, and every time you fail, don't look at it as a failure, because it's only a failure if you stop, but get the sort of motivation from that failure to say, yes, now I could try again, and my attempt could just be better, right? And so hopefully the simple principle found in Ecclesiastes could be a blessing to you like it was to me. Be fast, but you're not promised to win the race. Be strong, you're not promised to win the battle. When are you promised? Is if you keep trying every single day, your time will come. I pray that you are blessed, and I pray that this inspires you to be consistent and really fall in love with the daily grind. God bless you.